Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. What could be more holy than to be together this evening to celebrate holiness in honor of the one who guides us so lovingly? The one who came with such simplicity into the world. What a symbol in a manger to show us that the Christ is within us, the simplicity of the Christ here. That this isn't a one-day event every year. The Christ lives within us. The message is from him for now. Don't wait. Speak to me often, so I would tell you of God's love for you. That even if you played in a dream, it doesn't make it real. It's so powerful to spend time with him on that. To see the desire for a dream. And to really be committed to going all the way with him on looking directly at the energy of the desire to deny, the wanting. Let him reveal the relishing. So you can really become familiar. He's saying, yes, very familiar with staying with the desire, letting him bring you down and coach you from keep you. It's like the mind wants to pop up like a cork. The wrong-minded, it's like a little cork that's going to try to pop up and then tell a story or all the ideas. This is why he's getting so specific with us. What desire do I look at? And then you hear him deliver it out and you check bases with them. Is this the one, Jesus? This right here? Because the ego is going to come up with all kinds of storyline. The ego has its own idea of what we need to look at. You know, it likes to play way high up in all the emotions and all the fear and all the everything that denies the desire for the experience. So just ignore all that. Just go, show me, Jesus. You can cut it. Ask him, Jesus, can I just cut through that right to the juicy bit you're giving me? Do I have the power as an infinite being to look with you? And you'll see how quick it is. But it's not on your timeline. That's what he's really teaching. Not on my timeline. The timeline that I think when he's given you an assignment to look at something. He may have you look at it over several days or several time periods. And when he says you're done, you're done. Like he told Helen when she's writing the course. Ask me when you're done. He had this little discourse with her about she wanted to keep writing and she was late or something for a meeting. And he just was basically saying, you know, this isn't necessary. Just ask me. But he told her specifically, you need to ask me. Do you see how that's us taking the step forward in the welcome? That's how we lay our hands out to him so he can fill it with true seeing. He can lay in it all the ideas that are untrue for us to look at with him together gently and go, oh, right. And it's beautiful. We had a joining day, and to be able to say to just lay it on the table with him, the death wish. I want to just rip, and you'll see it. It's okay. I want to rip apart the world and kill a brother, but we see just to see it as a play, you don't have to spend much time there because you just go to the desire for it. You see how much time he's saving us? And your mighties are getting so acute, as we're getting so acute as supporting each other to go, okay, let's go right to the wanting. And then see, your mind will drift off. He'll show you the wanting, and you might start snoring. It's okay. Bring it back. Or ask him to remind you, Jesus, show me. Okay. You catch yourself. How just when you start to snore, sometime you're falling asleep. Okay. But he may tell your mighty just to check in with you. Okay, how's it going there? That's why you're just listening and following what he's saying. That's what's most important. Let that come out. There's been plenty of serpent forking. We spent our whole life with the serpent fork. Now, if he coaches you and he's telling you to say it, what he's sharing, but stay very present with what he's sharing about right here, right now, because I can see that too. Because then we'll start talking about what Jesus told. It's can be helpful, but not right now. Not when you're looking specifically, whatever it is. Today we're looking at annihilation, okay? Because it's going to feel real. It feels real. I want to annihilate and whoever walks by. But we see it. Do you see it's here now? Like before it was nah, nah, and then it would pop up. We didn't even know we wanted to kill everybody. We just felt irritated all the time. See? Or just wanted to not see certain beings anymore. And just like, I hope I never see them. That kind of thing. We didn't see it. Now he's bringing it into us, our awareness. How the ego wants to create a world and annihilate it. To have play. That's why you have all these war movies where everything gets annihilated. But what we're seeing is spend time on the relishing of annihilation. Ask him, Jesus, is that helpful? To spend time on the relishing of the desire to experience complete obliteration, complete annihilation. So you may work with him and then he says, you're clear. You go until he tells you, and he may bring you back to it. Okay, let's look. Jesus, do I need to look again at the desire for annihilation, for that experience? And he's going to teach you. It takes a little bit of like riding a bike, as we said, just go deeper. And as you build that trust, he starts revealing to you things. Stay with him. Let the wanting, oh, I want this. If somewhere to walk by, I would hack them, whatever. But let it fully express and just admit it. Oh, that's, because before we'd go diversionary. We'd go diversionary into anger or fear. It's a mask. See, it's trying to mask. It's too late. See, the desire's already bloomed and now we're experiencing it. Like we can't, it feels like this. I can't get away from it. It feels so real. And he'll guide you. You can trust that he will guide you through his voice, you listening, and through your brother so acutely, so with that surgical precision. And again, he may tell you, okay, you need to look at this. But ask him if you can share that, because there will be times he'll share things and he will tell you, do not share them. They're not in purpose to be expressed. It was really beautiful, a beautiful reminder today in a joining with Mary and Lori. Ask them what the purpose is. See, what's it for? What's this expression for? Is it trying to keep something or release or divinely express? Because the ego expresses all the time to try to keep a belief, to obscure the looking. That's what the expression is. Before we learn how to express as divine beings and speak his words, the ego is going to express all kinds of things. None of it being wrong. It's hitting the snooze button. And just start to notice how many words come out that is actual belief about someone else. Well, that guy's doing this. Now, Jesus may have you say that, but it's a very, very different. It's not to keep it. It's some kind of divine function. But it's not there's not a belief attached to it. You'll start to discern the difference. And in this, we're accepting Christhood, the love that's already here, starting with the light. What a place to begin, with the tile set to infinite, the only dial there is. Infinite, unchanging Christ. And in that light, it feels really good to just talk to him about Christ's control. That's what he's bringing into my awareness, Christ's control. Okay, Jesus. Reminding me he's in control of the atonement. And how we really don't have a clue about what that means. Jesus, do I have a clue about what it means for you to be in control of the atonement? No. Boy, the sooner that's admitted, he says it will be very much more peaceful. He said that admission will save a tremendous amount of time. That you cannot be in any way involved in recognition of divinity. Now it's going to play that way. He knows that already. But you will suffer it. You'll have a suffering waking up. Ask him, Jesus, if I get involved, if I don't turn this all over to you, will I suffer an awakening? You'll prolong it, because that's the desired play in consciousness. Desire is to drag that waking out up and hit that snooze button. Is that the play in consciousness, Jesus, to keep hitting snooze? Every time you don't listen, snooze. Every time you don't talk to me, snooze. Every time you don't accept a prompt, snooze. But along with that, it's not just that whole negotiation with Jesus thing, the kerfuffles that come with not listening to him. It just seems like, yes, you can listen to him in the next moment. He never abandons you. And sometimes the ego will throw that out. Well, Jesus will still be with me. Of course he will, but if you're not listening to him now, what makes you think you're going to listen to him in the future? Do you see? It's when he gives a prompt, it's really to look with him at why you would even object to it. So he can show you what the underlying, the underpinning no to divinity is. That's all they're for. He doesn't have a project list for graduation. Ask the light, do you have a project list for me for graduation? No, he's just showing you that you think you do, and you don't, because the light's here. So he's taking the idea that there's a doer, a waker upper, to give assignments that will demonstrate. First of all, we don't know jack about what we're talking about. We don't know anything about a miracle. We don't know anything about anything, and we're wrong about everything. And the only way it can show us that we're wrong about everything is to accept the assignment. And then in the assignment, you'll see there's no doer. So the ego's going to fight every assignment. Well, that doesn't feel good to me. Well, who's not going to feel good to? And he's reminding me too about that I talked about quite a bit this morning. It's not going to feel warm and fuzzy at first. When he gives an assignment, because of the desire in consciousness to say no to ourselves, to divine expression. So it actually can feel pretty rough. But see that the light's not making it rough. It's a desire within consciousness to make following the Holy Spirit's what's natural to us seem rough and seem like sacrifice. That's why you notice in that chapter 20, he goes through that pretty quickly at the top of the chart there. It's to release the idea that following is sacrifice, to release the idea that awakening is painful, the desired experience. That's a good one. Jesus, do I have any desire below my level of awareness? The tiniest little twitch around following you is sacrifice. I'm willing to see it. Doing God's will is sacrifice. Is there like the tiniest little twitch? See, when you feel complete peace, when he says that, when you ask him, that's how you know it's been cleared, like from the subconscious mind. So even if you want to say no, just admit, I really want to say no. So he can then show you what you're saying no to. I can remember getting so mad one time. I just want the right to say no, without seeing that the one that was saying no to divinity, that desire for control. We don't even know. I ask him, Jesus, do I even know what I'm saying no to? Do I have a clue to what I'm saying no to? So we're so confused. We don't even know when we're saying yes to the ego and no to divinity. Ask him, Jesus, do I actually have any clue when I'm saying yes to the ego and yes, you think you do. And you can get a little bit of discernment in there, which can kind of give you an idea of when you're aligned. The experience here, I feel like I'm continually asking him, is this divine expression? Or is this, am I holding on to, is this going to preserve something? And then he tells you, like he'll tell me, no, that's your function. You're in function. It's like, shoot, I don't even know when I'm in function. I need Jesus to tell me. So it's not gonna, like, the ego has its out picturing of how it's gonna feel to follow the Holy Spirit. And in the, you are kind of like the experience here when those time space rearrangements come in, you are kind of like, I don't know. You know? It's like Dyra and I talking today again about the translation. And I think she was talking to Melissa, and Melissa was telling her, if I have this right, it was Melissa, is going, I'm watching your mouth when you're speaking Spanish. And you're ending the sentences before Kay does, you know? Dyra's going, I don't know how that's happening. Simultaneous download of the one mind. But if that's not the most blow me back kind of demonstration from spirit of divine something being given for us, Dyra, to be in holy relationship, for us to come together in holy relationship and how it's given. And it supports the extension, see, the extension out into the brothers and sisters that speak Spanish. And to give us all that confidence of, like Dyra being the example of saying yes to the Holy Spirit, I will translate, even though there was uncertainty. You can ask her. I don't think she was feeling all kinds of jumping for joy. First of all. Dyra, are you feeling jumping for joy when you first heard you're getting? Let's see with it. No, but she knew, like, it becomes, you choose for higher service. And I know why he's just reminding us all to say yes to the assignment is to say yes to infinite and no to limitation. And then, but if in the symbols and forms, she hadn't stepped forward and said, yes, I'm going to do it anyway. Like, it was pretty much, I couldn't see that she mentioned like she wasn't, but you start to see the kind of the lock and load. I can't explain. How do I explain that? But you'll see it. You can watch it in movies. That suddenly it's like it clicks. This and only this kind of thing. You watch it. It happens in A Good Place. You'll see it happen. Tom Cruise did a great job in Edge of Tomorrow playing that, where he's kind of like this kind of, and doing everything for like a personal gain. But at the moment he suddenly clicked in, okay, I'm all in. It's like, it's like a switch goes on. And you can start to see it. You can see the switch. You watch it and play in consciousness as a reflection of just being so aligned with truth of being, and only that. So like, we don't have a score on the bedpost, of how many times we said no to divinity, and how many times we had to say no to the ego. But when it's a lot. So don't be surprised at how many times it may occur, he says. Very humbling. But there's so much love behind that, saying no. The only way you can see it is to say no to that old identity. He says, yes, that is the only way. Because again, we loved feeding the rabid dog in the backyard. Jesus, did I really relish that rabid dog in my backyard that I was feeding that ego? Do I relish it? Do I relish it more than God? And when you start seeing how much you do, like that's experience here, like when he's showing me, oh, I relish that, whatever it is, annihilation. I relish the experience of annihilation more than God. That, when you get to that, when he can show you that relishing and you're so open just to see it and let it fully, you'll see how much love is released in that. Like, you see how much the denial in that part of the dream of supreme happiness is in that play. And then you're just like, wow. So as many times as it takes, and just go. That's what he says. But the more specific you are, we let him be, the faster he can support us. Because ego's going to be going, why is this isn't over yet? Why am I not awake? That's a favorite thing. I heard that a lot. But now we can just go to Jesus and say, okay, what's the desire not to be awake? We can just flip it right on its head. How come this is taking so much time? Jesus, how come I have a desire for this to take so much time? See, what's the because see that the lights here, it's not counting. It doesn't have a little timer or stopwatch. It doesn't have, the light's not turning the sands over and going, okay, when is this going to be over? It's just here already. So whenever it's like, why isn't it done yet, Jesus? What desire do I have for it not to be, for me not to be whole and wholly complete right now? It just starts flipping everything. You see, you can go right side up so quickly in this. Instead of the head upside down underwater going, this is terrible, I'm drowning under here, I just feel like I'm dying. You'll just see that the cork will pop up really fast. And you'll see how much power we have as divine beings to cease to keep our head in the sand down there and go, oh, I want my head in the sand. I can lift it out. I do have the power. I've been playing weak. That's a good long discussion with them, talking about playing weak and having them show all the areas where the desire is for experience of weakness. But it points directly together at heaven. The value that we place on our Father's kingdom within. The value we place as our brother is the key given by God to welcome us to heaven. Our brother is the key. He's saying, yes, your brother is the key. Hold tightly. When you hold tightly, oh, that's so beautiful. He's saying, when you hold tightly to your brother, you're holding tightly to me. Not in the ways of the world, as one with you already. without anything else to do other than to be light, other than celebrate light. And then we laugh at the impossibility of the no. So I thank you for spending this precious time. Oh, holy night. Muji says, this is the best day. And I can remember thinking, I don't know what he's talking about. These days are not looking so good. But as we join together and look at what's true and release the no's, you'll see that every day becomes just a beacon of light. That was really beautiful today. Lori was saying that, a beacon of light. What's my function? What's our function, Jesus? Is it to be a beacon of light? It's helpful to be reminded, because sometimes it seems like, okay, I'm the one, like we're going to go join with brothers and it's going to seem like I'm the burden or I'm going to hold somebody back. Just please know that is a play in consciousness. That's what the ego is going to say. And it was really like so beautiful to see Lori, like she's full in, dun dun, go for it. Because it's for all of us. We're like celebrating that we're so grateful that she came and just stepped into it and said, no to it and came, because it's for all of us to look. Whatever's being brought up by a brother is for us to look this way. It's the gift that they're laying at the feet. So there's no greater or lesser. They're just, the first time that enters the mind, we're dead. Ask Jesus. The first time it's the thought that one brother's quote unquote helping another. I mean, it's the play at first, because that's how he's teaching us to be miracle workers. But that has to fall away. Do you see? Because as soon as there's a teacher and a student, there's two. Our only function is to express his words so that we're expressing as we truly are, infinite light of being, the true meaning of Christmas. We're expressing as the Christ. That's our only function. Ask Jesus. Jesus, my only function, that Christ, that the fulfillment of your teachings live within me. Thank you, Father. Thank you, brother, for bringing the Christ and for your devotion. It's so, he says you can't see anything without your brother, really. Without these reflections to show us the path. See, the brother is the path to God. We can see it here with each other and the way we're collaborating. We're just having so much. It's so hard to explain. You can't even explain it. How we're getting and David would talk about it. I really didn't understand it. I thought, was this team building or something? But it's not like that. As the mind releases from its hold of being an identity and just opens like a flower to every all the options that brothers bring. It's sort of like this video collaboration with Dyer. Well, and it's like the translations, it's coming together and just being given everything together, the translations and the video setup and how it takes all the love for that there's always like this concept, oh, I'm doing everything. But in reality, no, all the beings are contributing and doing the videos where Dyra might make the cut or put in pictures, or we might put in pictures, or we might put in audio, or she'll do audio. But it's kind of like this mystical thing, or they're working on the translations together. That has to be, the Spanish translation has to be mystical. So we have these like little projects that he's giving us to play together with. So if you feel some kind of spark to play in that way, then come join. Let us know. Because that's all we're here for, is to play together and see what's true. So thank you for your divine presence and devotion to God. Happy hologram.